Dr. Ehrman, I hear you saying, how do scholars actually know what's a real verse and what's a fake verse compared to the original, since we don't have the originals? I'm glad you asked, because it's a good question, and he gives us a good answer. Hello, and welcome to my secular ex-Christian deconstructing Bible study bonanza. I am here to help you deconstruct. We're talking about the textbook, The New Testament, written by ex-Christian biblical historian Bart Dehrman, and this is part 3 of the second chapter. Please come along. Okay, let's say they've got all these different manuscripts that overlap one book of the Bible. One's from 400 CE, 100 are from 1500 CE, and they've got a bunch between those two time frames. They're going to look at each of them, see where the verses are different, and decide which one is true to the original. First, the older ones are usually closer to the source, so scholars give them a lot of weight. What does the one from 400 CE say? It's been copied fewer times and has had less time for scribes inserting their, interesting opinions. Second, where did they find the manuscripts? If they have 40 from this one little island, and those are different than the other 100 we get from all over the world, then those 40 are probably a local variant. They assume that the ones that are distributed across the world are probably more correct. Third, what about style? I speak and write a certain way, and someone trying to put words in my mouth may not do a good job at it. So if the verses sound nothing like how Paul writes elsewhere, chances are Paul didn't write them. Fourth, if everything's lining up to say that one manuscript is correct and that manuscript says stuff that goes against the doctrines of the church, someone may have read the original, decided they didn't like it, and changed it to make it better. An older manuscript containing something church apologists don't like is probably actually the truer one. And finally, after considering everything else, some manuscripts are just a hot mess. If, using the other criteria, scholars figure out that a part of a document is full of errors, that calls into question the rest of the document. So to answer the question, do we have the original New Testament, the answer is a resounding no, but with caveats. Scholars have pieced it together as best they can, but it's impossible to recreate the entire thing, which means we have to take everything we learn with a grain of salt. That means the Bible is not inerrant. It's errant. It's very, very errant, which is fine if you use it to inform your worldview instead of using it to barricade you in as some kind of rigid, inflexible truth.